Good day, everybody, and how are you? I would like us to have a conversation around building in terms of what is better, to buy a building or to build one on your own. This question is complicated as well as simple. If you are building a house, there are several advantages to it. You are able to design your own house according to how you want it. You are able to instill modern facilities according to how you want them. You are able to customize the functionality of the buildings and the specs according to how you want them. When you are buying a building, on the other hand, there are several limitations that may come into play, including finding a building that suits whatever it is that you are trying to do, and which is usually the complication of buying an existing building. However, there are times when you buy a building, it's just the right specs, right beauty, right paint color code, right everything. So the question of is it better to buy or build really is not a simple question with a simple answer. When we look at experience, however, almost all the buildings that you're going to buy, especially the old ones, you are going to have to do some work on them. So you then have to calculate, if I bought this building at $10,000, for example, how much work would I put in? Usually the rule of thumb is whatever price you are going to buy that building for, you should expect to put in the same amount into sprucing it up, updating it. In some cases, you have to change the entire roof. In some cases, you have to just change the ceiling board. If it's those old houses that our parents used to build in the 70s, you may just have to change maybe the ceiling board or the taps, the toilets. But always remember, if you spend $10,000 in buying a building, plus hidden costs, you are very likely going to spend another $10,000 in upgrading it. So the question you must ask yourself therefore is, if I had $20,000, can I build the same building or even better? Can I get this? Can I get more space, more square meters with $20,000? If I doubled it on my own, can I get the land and build? And sometimes you may find that maybe if you went ahead and built your own building, you may come out $25,000 as an example, or you may come up to $15,000. The other aspects we consider between buying and building is issues of time. How much time do you have to wait between the time that you're going to buy the building and the time that you're going to live in it? If you have a lot of time on your hands, and in most cases that is what happens, a lot of us have time but don't have enough money. So if you have a lot of time but you do not have enough money, then building your own building is much better. So you may, for example, buy a 7-hectare land for, let's say, as just random figure, $5,000 US, just a random figure. You may buy a 5-hectare land at $5,000. And you have 10 years in which to build the building that you want. Do you guys in other countries have that bicycle there? It goes Mabatri Osira Yamotoka Tigula. That bike, he just went past in the red shirt. It means they buy used batteries, then they go and melt the aluminium and so on and so forth. So he's gone. So coming back to our conversation, 7 hectares of land at $5,000 US, and you need maybe $30,000 US to build that structure, and you have 10 years which you can wait. So 5,000 plus 30,000, $35,000. Now buying a 7-hectare property now with buildings on it now might cost you somewhere around, as an example, $60,000 US, but it gives you your building now. You start utilizing it now. So there is always an aspect of time involved, an aspect of price involved and an aspect of agency and functionality. So I'll leave it there. Is it better to buy a building or to build a building? It's up to you. It's up to what you want. It's up to what you want to utilize the building for. It's up to how deep your pockets are. And it's a trade-off between time, present value, and future value. If you can reconcile those two, then you have your answer. I have personally never bought a building. I've never bought a building. I've never bought a house. I've never bought a business premises. I've never bought an office space. I have never. I always have the time. And so I trade off my time to get it cheaper and to build it better in the standards that I want. I have rented buildings before, but I've never bought a building. Maybe in future I will. I just looked at a $3.6 million building a few minutes ago. I don't want to talk about it because it's on the market. And I don't want to be accused of denting their business and so on and so forth. So I don't want to talk about it. But I just looked at a $3.6 million building and I'm still the same old person. I'll just build my own. Have a good day.